Hello, we will now have a conversation with Daniel Plácido, one of the authors of the book titled Western Gnosis, and his article is about anthroposophy. Daniel, please tell us, in what historical and cultural context did anthroposophy emerge?
Anthroposophy emerged at the turn of the 19th century to the 20th century. Steiner himself was not immune to the cultural currents that were in circulation during his era. On the one hand, there was a swarm of strands such as positivism, evolutionism, philosophical irrationalism. In authors like Haeckel, Darwin, Nietzsche, Comte, Marx, and Steiner took into consideration what was going on in the formal academic intellectual milieu. He did have an academic background, a strict one in this sense. At the same time, he was not oblivious to what was going on in esoteric circles. It was a period of a revival of the occult in France, England, the United States, with characters such as Eliphas Levi, such as Madame Blavatsky, who founded the Theosophical Society in the United States and later went to India. Although Steiner clearly was influenced by Blavatsky's theosophy, he went on to follow an intermediate path. He would not accept, on the one hand, materialism, obviously neither scientism nor positivism. But on the other hand, he would not accept the syncretist occultism that existed at the time. So he went on to create precisely his own path, which is anthroposophy, which he also called the science of the spirit, spiritual science, or even anthroposophic spiritual science. He tried to put together a spiritual scientific methodology that used the rigor of science, but without disregarding other planes of reality, the anemic spiritual reality.
This is very enlightening, but what were Steiner's views on the topic of modern initiation?
This is such a vast topic. The theme of initiation is a classic theme within esoteric tradition, and we talk about initiation in the context of the ancient mysteries, for example, and the medieval initiations, the Templars and Freemasonry. So Steiner does not disregard what tradition has to say about this, but he set himself to reinterpret this theme. Traditions have always talked about levels or initiation degrees. Steiner does not disregard this. He sees initiation as a cumulative process through which the individual awakens within oneself the organs of suprasensible perception, and anthroposophy aims to be the very methodology that shall support this process. It offers at the same time a new initiation for the conditions of the modern world, and it dialogues with Rosicrucianism on the idea that it has to be a free initiation, right? An initiation that does not depend on the absolute authority of a master or on initiatory rites. In that sense, Steiner offered an innovative contribution. He also stated that, in addition to formal traditional initiation, there are authors or exponents who do not fit exactly into the whole thing of seeking initiation with a master or a group. Authors like Jacob Boehme, Swedenborg, Steiner thought that they did not seek a formal initiation, but rather had their own spiritual opening by means of the influence of divine grace, by virtue of their particular karma. He proposed a typology about that. He claimed, for example, that Jacob Boehme was attracted to the subtle sphere of the sun. He was the solar type. Swedenborg, in turn, was attracted to the subtle sphere of Saturn. He was the Saturnine type. Furthermore, Steiner acknowledged the fact that there is in this world an Eastern tradition that demands absolute loyalty to one's master and his or her authority. There is also the ancient way, which is no longer suitable for our time, that of mystical Christianity, where the neophyte develops within oneself the stigmata of Christ within the framework of a more devotional path. At the same time, he stressed a great deal the idea that the modern path is that of anthroposophy and that of Rosicrucianism. It must be free and independent from an authority, and it has to be based on a rigorous methodology.
Thank you, Daniel, for your contribution and for such a comprehensive explanation. I invite everyone to read Daniel's article on the topic of anthroposophy in the book titled Western Gnosis.